All right, so welcome to community. My name is Jennifer Martinez. I have been with Fortis for 5 years, a little over 5 years now. I started off on campus in Virginia. So I've worked at the Richmond, Virginia campus as well as the Norfolk, Virginia campus. Recently moved to Texas. So I am living in San Antonio, Texas. Um, what else about me? I've been a nurse for 25 years. I started off as a CNA, was an LPN, and then an RN. Primarily practiced in long-term care and pediatrics. And then I joined education in 2012. So I've been a clinical instructor, a didactic instructor. I've been in leadership as well. So did SIM, did lab, did all of that. So I have a lot of experience in education as well. I have 4 kids. My oldest is a federal police officer. Um, my 2 girls are nurses. I have one that's an RN, one that's an LPN, and then my youngest is just graduating. My youngest is a boy. He is graduating with his LPN or his practical nursing. So I don't have 3 of mine all turned out to be nurses. Um, my mom was a nurse. My mom's identical twin was a nurse. So I guess it just kind of runs in the family. I have 2 grandchildren. I have a 3.5-year-old sassy little princess named Layla. And then I have a grandson who is a year and a half. His name is Caden. And I have another granddaughter on the way who is due in January. So excited for that. They're all still up in Virginia. So we try to go home or go back at least twice a year so we can see everybody. They're, of course, more than welcome to come down here if they want. I have 2 German Shepherds, so I will warn you. My one German Shepherd does like to whine, and when she whines, it sounds like she says mom. And when I promise I don't have any little kids, I am not ignoring any little kids. It does sound like she says mom. Whether that, and I don't know who taught her that. Um, but she is very whiny and very needy. So just let you know, I am not ignoring any children. Um, what else about me? I love Harry Potter, Star Wars, Legos. I love Legos, love Legos. I don't have my office completely set up. We're not sure if we're going to stay in this house or get a different house. So I haven't put my Legos up, but I don't know. I'm a huge Lego nerd. I love Legos. Um, I did Boy Scouts for 20 years. I was an assistant scoutmaster, so lots of camping and things like that. I do like to camp. I will tell you, it's hot in Texas. I don't see myself camping here in Texas unless they can turn the AC on outside because it is ridiculously hot down here. What else? Nothing else really interesting about me. Grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Joined the Navy. That's how I ended up in Virginia. We were in Virginia for 30 years before we decided to relocate down here to San Antonio. So big difference. I'm an East Coast girl. I miss it. I miss the beach. But it's just a little bit getting used to. So with that being said, I know that you've probably had this orientation already before today. If not, you'll have it again sometime this week. But we're going to go through the orientation PowerPoint and then we'll get some introductions from you guys so I can get to know you a little bit as well. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, so again, welcome. Like some of you are in your second to last term, some of you are in your last term, and I know that's exciting and probably a little nerve-wracking too. There's lots to get done. So online learning, and I know you guys have had online courses before now. but it's just using the computer, as well as your internet access. Um, allows us as instructors, right, to interact with you guys through the, online resources. I'll provide guidance as well as providing feedback to you guys about your progress. I do like to make comments, especially on things like your NCLEX questions, right, just to kind of help you out as you prepare for this term, as well as getting ready to take your NCLEX. So you will be required to complete your coursework every week. And I think the online environment is pretty cool, especially with Fortis, because there's so many different campuses and you get to meet students from other campuses and, get to know each other and, learn the differences, right, between the different campuses. So for me, make this bigger. Um, any issues, concerns, need assistance, can't make it to class, homework is going to be a little bit late, whatever the issue is, please let me know. So I wouldn't be your first contact for any issues. I'm available by email, Canvas messaging, by phone. I have put my email address, my cell phone number. You have you can contact me through Canvas as well. Feel free if you have any issues, you can call, you can text, you can email. I'm like I'm your facilitator. We're work through this term together. I'm gonna help you, I can suggest ways for you to improve. I can suggest things for you to look at, to read, to study, just to help you to be successful. I will, again, like I told you before, I will provide feedback on your assignments to help you improve, get better, get ready to take those big tests at the end. I do have experience with this course. I've been teaching this course for almost a year. I love community. It's a great course. Lots of information, lots of information. So I'm not going to say that, but there's lots of information in this course. It's kind of going to be a culmination of some of the other courses that you've taken as well. Um, Online courses are professional setting, so we just ask that communication is respectful at all times. Oops, sorry. Again, any issues, I will be your first point of contact. Again, call, email, text, whichever. Um, my information is in the announcements. It's also under the modules about your instructor. My contact information is there. If I cannot help you or can answer your question for some unknown reason, I will provide a resource for you to get your question to answer. The course lead for this instructor is Dr. Annalena Lundy. Her information is there. Again, PowerPoint is posted in the announcements, so you have access to this information. The online National Dean of Nursing is Dr. Darlene Brown. Her email and her phone number is there as well for you. And then, of course, if you have any concerns with your online or your on-ground courses, sim, lab, clinical, or anything like that, you have your campus instructors, right? I don't know if you guys have course leads, but your course leads on campus, as well as your campus dean. So we have lots of different people, lots of different opinions, and that is wonderful. And I think that's what makes this great. But just please be sure that we are courteous and positive, that we are sharing our thoughts and things in a respectful manner. When we're talking, we talk about, humorous or even emotional statements. Just be careful on how you express those, so that we don't run the risk of being misinterpreted by anybody. Try to keep our comments relevant to the discussion topic. That just allows us to stay on task, make sure that everything that we need to get covered for the day is covered. Be considerate of others' experiences, feelings, perspectives. Use proper language and titles, no slang, and don't type messages in all caps. And I'm sure you guys know that when you type in all caps, it gives the impression that you are yelling. So I kind of encourage you again not to do that. We do have online specific start and end times. So we will be together on Wednesdays from 1 to 2:47. The classes are scheduled on the specific day, right? These are mandatory live sessions, so you must be present for each one of the each one of the class times. If there's an issue, if you can't make it, if you're going to be late, whatever the reason, please let me know. Quizzes will be given at the start of class. All right, you know that if you are late for class and you miss a quiz, the quiz cannot be made up. So please try to be on time for each one of the courses. Course activities, we have discussion questions, we can have group projects, we can have papers, we can have case studies, quizzes, exams. There is a group project in this course. It's an infectious disease group project, which I will be giving out those group assignments by next week. So discussion board initial posts are due by Wednesday at midnight. And then you need to have 2 peer responses by midnight on Sunday. And so all the due dates for your assignments are in your course. And then you can always look at your syllabus to kind of see what weeks things are due. Academic integrity. So this is another big one. Academic integrity, all incidences of academic dishonesty, any violations of academic integrity will be disciplined. So some things that we are looking for that would fall under a incidence of academic dishonesty would be cheating, plagiarism. You guys know what plagiarism is? Yes, okay. It's submission of the work of another person for credit, or it's failure to properly cite references for any work which is not original to you, copying others' work, or allowing another student to copy from you. So don't, if you're, when you're doing your research, make sure that when you are writing your assignments, that you are giving proper credit to the people that you got the information from. Unauthorized use of notes or materials in exams, including talking to other students, forging or altering assignments, unpermitted collaboration, so giving or receiving aid on take-home exam or another assignment where a reasonable person should have known that such aid was not permitted. You won't have any take-home exams. Sorry, but don't put that out there. Allowing others to copy or use work that is not his or her own, and then providing answers from graded assignments to others. So that's even including if somebody were to miss an exam and you were, they contacted you and you were giving them questions that were on the exam. That would also be an academic integrity violation. The American Nurses Association Code of Ethics for Nurses. So the Code of Ethics for Nurses serves the purpose to, they're the following purposes. It is a succinct statement of ethical values, obligations, duties, and professional ideals of nurses, both individually and collectively. It is the profession's non-negotiable ethical standard and an expression of nursing's own understanding of its commitment to society. So this is what the American Nurses Association expects. So that integrity and the ethical values need to start while you're in school. This is another big one. This has always been an issue. So any site that promotes cheating, use of those sites does not promote honor, ethics, or integrity. Fortis is monitoring those sites. So if you are found on any of the sites that promote cheating, that will put you on heightened monitoring of your work, for potential academic integrity violations. You can't reference these sites either when you are submitting your work. That will result in a 0 for the assignment. A second incident involving these sites will resort in course failure. Um, and then utilizing these sites, whether you're posting on the sites or even downloading information off the sites, does put you at risk of being dismissed from the program. Um, the online dean will be in contact with the campus administration as well as others. Um, so my suggestion is that you don't go to any of these sites. If they are not listed on your syllabus as a course reference, don't use them. So these are like your Staduco, your Course Hero, Stuvia. I don't even know. There's a lot of more out there. Late work. So submit your work on time. If you need to submit something late, you need to let me know prior. You can only, I can only accept work that you have, or late work that you have let me know is going to be late. Um, the late policy is 1 to 7 days. You get a 10% deduction in the overall grade. And then 8 or more days late, it is a 0 for that assignment. All right, attendance. So attendance is only recorded when you come to class. And so yes, there was a mix up with the Zoom link. So no, we didn't get any missed attendance for today. All right, so you will get attendance for the time that you are present on Zoom. I will take it during the live session. So to be counted as present, you need to sign in with your full name on your Zoom, and everybody has their name on their Zoom. You need to be on camera the whole time. Camera can't be pointing to the ceiling, to the ground, to, the side. I need to see your beautiful faces, not your foreheads. Like, I need to see your beautiful faces. You cannot work or drive. So if you are driving or you at work, you will be removed from the Zoom session. Anyone not coming on camera after being asked to will also be removed. So if I can't see your face or your camera goes off, I will send you a chat. If you don't respond to the chat, I will put you back into the waiting room. Or I'll pull you into a breakout room. If you don't respond, then I will remove you from the course. The only thing I can say is I understand that people need to take nature breaks. I understand that. Just put in the chat, hey, I'll be right back. Just kind of let me know so I know that you're still paying attention. I can verify your times in class by looking at the login, logout times on Zoom. So Zoom does give us a report of what time you logged in, if you logged out, logged back in. And that is what I will use to post your attendance. Any attendance missed is recorded in 15 minutes, 15-minute increments. Okay, so if you're 10 minutes late for class, it's 15 minutes. If you leave 5 minutes early from class, it's 15 minutes. So just know that those hours add up pretty quick, or those, I shouldn't say hours, those minutes add up pretty quick. So be very careful about your time. Anyone not posting attendance 14 days in a row will be dropped without notification. So that's, I'm sure everybody's heard of the 14-day attendance rule, right? That's a federal guideline. And then there is no makeup for misattendance. Okay, so, if something happens and you can't make class, you'll have access to the recordings, but there is no attendance for makeup. Like, there's no makeup for missed attendance. So again, attendance is taken by the instructor. I turn it over to the registrar before the end of the day. Any early departures, any tardies, any class cuts will be reported in those 15-minute increments. And then the attendance records are maintained by the registrar as part of your permanent record. This is where it is. If you miss in excess of 20% of time, right, then you may receive a failing or reduced grade for the course. So just be careful with your attendance. This isn't a long class. There's not a lot of hours in this class. So the time can add up very quickly, and I don't want anybody to have a deduction in their grade for attendance. So if you miss more than 20%, you will receive a full letter grade deduction at the end of the term. So if you're, sitting at even if you have say you have an 87 in the course, which is a great grade, that could potentially drop you below failing, below that 78 benchmark. So just be really mindful of your time. The levels are the time missed. So if you miss 5%, you'll get a notification. 10%, you'll get a notification. You will be required to meet with myself or the dean as well as myself. Just keep me up, keep me posted if there's anything going on that I need to know about that's going to affect this course. Please let me know. And then once you get to 15%, then you'll have to meet with your on-campus administration. You may not get every one of those levels of those letters, okay? So it's important for you to be able to keep track of your time as well. So keys to success. So we look at online nursing. Sometimes people think, it's not face-to-face, so we don't get to see you every day. We're not on campus with you. And so it's really important that you log in and you are looking at what is due each week. So review work that is due each week. I don't know what everybody's organization is. Some people like to use their Google calendars or their Microsoft calendars to try to keep themselves on track. Whatever it is that you need to do, make sure that you're logging in and you're looking at what work is due each week. It'll be posted in the announcements as well. And so you'll have, weekly reminders of things that are due. Try to read the reading assignments each week. And as I go through the syllabus, I'll kind of point things out to you. The reading assignments are coming from a variety of sources. All right. So some of the stuff that you may have already reviewed in Med-Surg, or getting ready to review in Med-Surg. So you're going to look at a variety of different sources in this course. Make sure you do your lessons each week. You attend your live lessons. These are mandatory. And then carefully read the directions and rubrics to all assignments before starting them. So this is your guide to your assignments. So when you open up the assignment, you want to read those assignment directions, and then you want to look at the rubric. And the rubric should serve as a guide for you to setting up your assignments, right? You can put headers in your papers or your PowerPoints, and it helps you to make sure that you cover all the information that is required for that assignment. And we'll go through some of those. Complete all your assignments. And then, of course, study, do your quizzes, do great on your exams. So logging in 4 to 5 times a week, that helps you stay connected as well as engaged. Review your course announcements. Submit all your assignments on the week when they are due, including your discussions. Remember the late policy. If it is 1 day late, 1 to 7 days late, it's a 10% reduction in your overall grade. And then if it is greater than 8 days, it is a 0. And then as you get closer towards the end of the week, then you want to start looking at what is to be next week. Procrastination gets us all, right? Oh, I had to do Sunday. It should be really quick for me to do. I'll just do it Sunday evening. And then something happens, you don't potentially get it done. So try to avoid procrastinating. Keep in contact Again, any issues, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. You have my cell phone number, you have my email address, call, text, email. Make sure that your internet connection, your computer and your laptop are in good working order, especially for quizzes and tasks. Please come and make sure that they are charged. Okay. Um, Maintain a schedule for completing your homework. I don't know, like I said, this is, some people use their Google Calendar, some people like planners. I am still old school. I still have a calendar that I write everything on just to help me stay organized. Try to find a quiet, free place from distractions to get your homework done. I know a lot of people have kids and other responsibilities. Um, but just finding some time for yourself, whether it's an hour or two, just to, be able to focus in on your schoolwork. And then again, read all assignment directions carefully. And like I said, we're going to go through some of the assignments and the directions so that we can make sure that we are all on the same page so that we get or that all the requirements for those assignments are fulfilled. So everybody is logged into the course. I've seen that. You can click on the course, you can see my information. And then of course you can download the syllabus and have the syllabus ready for you. You can, make sure that you have access to your textbook. I'm just gonna look real quick. Let's see. Almost everybody has done the syllabus quiz and the technology check. So please make sure that you get those done because I think you're going to have to do those before you can access the rest of the course. Um, have my information, put my cell phone number in your phone. This way, if something does happen and you're away from the computer and you need to get in touch with me, you have my information. Anybody look at the course syllabus yet? Has anybody looked at it? Yeah, a couple of people. All right. Um, has everybody tried to use any look or log into any of the online resources within the course yet? Y'all are like, no, not yet. All right. All right. Oops, I just kind of like jumped ahead a couple terms. All right, so make sure you come to class prepared to discuss the concepts. Again, the weekly announcements, you're going to get an overview of the information that we are going to cover that week in class. So kind of doing the reading, looking through what we're going to cover that week does help the class go a little bit better. Um, my office hours are also posted. They are 3 to 4 on Wednesdays. If you want to meet with me, I'll be available those times. If that time does not work for you, please send me an email, send me a text, call me. We can find another day and time that will work for you. Schedule tutoring sessions when you need. And so don't let this get away from you. There's only 3 exams as well as your HESI. You of course have your quizzes as well. Um, if there's concepts that you don't understand, if there's anything that you are struggling with, you need to reach out to me. I will look at your quiz scores, obviously, and I will look at your tests. Um, if they are below benchmark. So if you don't make the 78% on your exams, then we want to make sure that you are meeting with me so we can go over those missed concepts. All right, you're going to see them on HESI. The concepts are important for nursing as well as NCLEX, and even can help you in some of your other courses. So if I reach out to you after an exam, please make sure that you schedule a meeting with me so we can go over those missed concepts. Um, And then if there's any technical difficulties, you can contact IT. So again, we have the review sessions. I will also be posting your reviews for your exams. So you'll have your exam reviews and you will have a HESI review as well. So I will be posting those days. I do want to get some input from all of you to see if there's any specific days that work better than others. And we'll do that after we go through the rest of the orientation. Attendance is taken at the review sessions. They are not mandatory review sessions, but we do take attendance for our records. Tutoring as well. I do offer tutoring. I don't have set tutoring hours other than just my set office hours. If you would like additional tutoring or need additional assistance and those office hours do not work for you, again, call me, text me, email me, and we can set up times outside of those hours that work better for your schedule. Students that participate in tutoring and review sessions tend to have higher test scores, as high as 20% more on average. So that is why we do the reviews and the tutoring. So we look at KGA. I know you guys know what your KGA or your key graded assignments are. It's usually your unit exams, your quizzes, your HESI. That's 80% of your grade. The 20% is your homework. So your discussion questions, papers, your NCLEX questions, any HESI case studies or HESI prep, things like that would all fall under homework. So, you have to have a 78% with your KGA. So it's a combination of your unit exams, your HESI, and your quizzes. You have a 78% on those. And then at the end of the term, that is when your homework grades will be added in. You do not get credit for your homework grades until you have that 78 in your 78 KGA. So for the first 5 weeks, the homework scores will be turned off. In week 6, I'll turn on the homework score. That helps to show you what the impact of your homework is on your KGA. If you missed any homework, if you had any late assignments, but you'll be able, or if you've done everything perfectly, it'll show you what the impact is on your KGA. And then week 8, we'll turn the homework scores back off, and then that will give you just your KGA. And then once everybody has completed HESI and has turned in their remediation, that is when I will turn the HESI score or the homework scores back on so you can know what your final grade will be in that course. So your combined score in all quizzes, unit exams, and specialty exam in the course must be a 78, again, before any credit for completed homework is given. So minimum grade of 78 is required for successful completion of the course after homework scores are added. Please do your homework. That's all I can say. I have seen students that have had really good grades in the course. They've done well on exams. They've done well on quizzes. Did great on the HESI and didn't do their homework and then ended up getting below a 78% in the course because they did not complete their homework assignments. So get all your work turned in so that you don't lose those points. It also can help you, right? So for some people that may have struggled a little bit, and have a lower, grade, maybe an 80, but they did all their homework, right? That can also bump your grade up. So again, make sure you get your homework turned in. For exams and quizzes, so for your quizzes as well, you will need to have 2 devices. So you'll have your laptop to run your exam and then your phone to be on Zoom. So please make sure that both of them are charged or are on a charger. If you go off camera while you're in the exam, you will receive a 0 for the exam. So no excuses. So please just make sure everything is charged prior to coming to class. Um, so that you can have your camera and your phone and your computer up and running for both quizzes and exams. So quizzes are part of your KGA. We will do the quizzes in class. They are given at the beginning of class. So class starts at 1 o'clock. We'll start our class with the quiz. They are 10 questions. They are 15. You have 10 questions. They are 15. You have 15 minutes to complete the quiz. There is only one attempt. And then make sure once you have answered all the questions that you submit your quiz when it is done. If you take your quiz off camera, if you are not proctored when you take the quiz, if you come in late and get the password from another student and decide to take the quiz, you will still receive a 0, and that will be an academic integrity violation. So please make sure that you are on camera for all your quizzes and your exams. Quizzes cannot be made up for any reason. If you're late for class, it's a 0. If you're not in class, it's a 0. So just keep that in mind that we cannot make up any exam or any quizzes. With exams are also going to be given during class time. So you will have, and they are going to be given through ExamSoft. So you will need to have your phone as well as your computer, right? One for Zoom, one to take your exam. You'll sign into ExamSoft, you'll read the directions, and then once everybody is logged in, I will give the password. And you can take your exam. When you're finished, you'll click save and upload, and that will give you a confirmation screen. So we'll go over this again when it comes to our exam days, but please do not log out of Zoom or out of the class until I have confirmed that I have received your exam. I know it sounds kind of silly, but there have been instances where students have, had to scramble to try to get students to log back in because their exam did not upload. So please do, again, I'll cover this on exam days, but don't log off until I have confirmed that I have received your exam. You are only allowed one attempt. You can't stop, pause, or resume your exam. If there are technical difficulties during your exam, stop your exam and let us know. There's going to be 2 proctors, myself and another instructor on exam days. So if there's any issues, technological issues, please let us know. We'll pull you into a breakout room. We'll try to resolve those issues. All your exams are timed. So 75 minutes for 50 questions. If you have accommodations, please let me know so that we can set those up in advance. So anyone with accommodations needs to notify me at the beginning of the term. If you had just because you had accommodations last term doesn't mean that we necessarily know about them. If you had them last term and I wasn't your instructor, I have no way of knowing if you have accommodations. Um, any notification of accommodations less than 10 days before an exam may not be able to be granted in time. All right, so there is a process that we follow. So again, anybody that has accommodations, please let me know. Not in Zoom, but you can send me an email. Again, exams are going to be held during our scheduled class time. Exceptions are only with written approval by your faculty and copy to the national online dean. Not taking an exam during a scheduled class time will result in an absence. Again, right? We can't make up lecture time. If something happens, you can't make the test, please let me know as soon as possible. all right, so that we can schedule a time for you to make up that exam. It does have to be made up within the 7 days. Exams can only be proctored with a faculty member on campus with at least 72 hours notice, 72-hour notice, and must still be done during the scheduled class time. So if something were to happen and you need to go to campus in order to take your exam, I need to know at least 3 days ahead of time, along with the information of the person that is going to be proctoring you on campus. Exams are Zoom proctored. Like I said, you have to have the two devices, your computer to take the exam and your phone for Zoom. You must be on camera the entire time. You will have to show your photo ID. And then we will do a 360 of the room. So I'm looking at your desktop, your walls, all sides of the computer chair, the floor. If your ears are covered, I need to see your ears. I need to see your glasses. Um, you must have an erasable whiteboard or even a screen protector with um, a dry erase marker. You cannot use paper, no paper. All right. So again, dry erase or a screen protector. No personal calculators. There is a calculator that is in ExamSoft. And if there's any religious exceptions, please, will just, let me know. We can discuss those on the side. Do not assume that I know all of your individual requirements, okay? So some of it is your responsibility to let instructors know if there's any accommodations that need to be made for the term. Missed exams will be held to the late policy. So exam missed without prior notice will be a 0. So again, if you just decide, something happens and you don't come to class, you don't take the exam, it is a 0. Exams missed for personal reasons will result in a late penalty. All right, so that 10% reduction. Exams missed due to an emergency will require documentation of the emergency. So if something happens and you miss your exam, then of course, we can allow that to be made up. The documentation must be submitted to the National Dean of Online Nursing Education, which is Dr. Darlene Brown, and it must be within 24 hours of the missed exam. So let's say we have an exam next Wednesday and something happens, you miss the exam, you need to provide that information to Dr. Brown as soon as possible. Documentation must be presented prior to the exam being rescheduled. All right, so if you miss an exam, you need to schedule that exam makeup. You need to have the documentation submitted prior to prior to me scheduling a date for you to make up the test. Any exam not scheduled within 7 days of the class time will result in a 0. All right, so you still have that 7 days to make up that exam. So this is, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second and I will share for it. I'll go back to sharing in a second. This is one thing that I just want to make sure that you understand, okay? If you're sick, if it were me and my dog was sick, okay, and I was up all night with my dog, if something happens the night before an exam, the morning before an exam, and you think that it is going to impact your ability to perform well on that exam, tell me ahead of time. Okay. Don't come in an altered state of mind, take an exam, do poorly, and then say, I had this, and this. I can't help you after the fact. I can help you before. Okay. So if something happens and you feel like, you're not, had a family emergency, whatever it is, let me know before you take that exam and not after. All right. Because once you take that exam, there is anything I can do. You only get one chance to take that exam. So communication is key. All right, if there's any issues, any concerns, please let me know beforehand, not after. All right, I'll go back to sharing my screen. So again, let me know ahead of time, not after. So with your exams, again, remember your quizzes, your tests they are timed. So, your quizzes, you'll have 15 minutes for 10 questions. Your exams, unless there's any accommodations, right? Just generally speaking, it's 75 minutes for 50 questions. You can only complete them once. If you start the exam or quiz, you have to complete it. You won't get another opportunity to attempt those. If there's any technical issues during a quiz or an exam, don't continue or try to continue if you're having technical issues. Notify me right away. So raise your hand in Zoom. I can pull you into a breakout room and we can see if we can figure out what the issue is and see if we can fix it. We can verify issues. I can look in Canvas. I can look at the Zoom log. I can look at the quiz log. I can see, what you're doing in your quizzes if you've left the Zoom page, how much time you've used. I can see how many questions you have seen. And then I could potentially give a code to re-access an exam. I will not allow a retake of an exam due to technical problems or other physical or emotional issues when the majority of all questions have been answered by student or or time has run out. So again, we're going to try to, if you're having, if there is, another issue that's going to impede your success, let me know prior to the exam. Quizzes I can't allow makeups for, but quizzes make sure for exams, we want everybody to be in a proper state of mind in order to be successful for those exams. The specialty exams are given in a proctored environment. We only do HESIs on campus. You only have one attempt at your community HESI. And then, of course, you know that your campus is going to schedule the time and date for that exam. The exam counts for 20% of your KGA. And so of course, we know that the benchmarks for HESI is always going to be that 900. Remediation is mandatory. So remediation is, doesn't matter, even if you got over the 900, right? There's remediation requirements that must be met. So time is dependent on your HESI score. So even again, if you got over 900, it's a minimum of 1 hour. Your HESI remediation times will be posted in your announcements. So you will have access to those. So please, it's always due by Monday. I don't know why it says 1 a.m., but 11:59 of week 12. So by the time we come to class or by the, we get all the remediation done, I'll be able to put all the grades in. I will be able to turn on your homework scores. And so you will have, you'll know exactly where you stand in the course. If you don't do your remediation, 100% of your remediation, we will get a 0 for your HESI. So please make sure that you do all of your remediation. With exams, you will have to show your photo ID. You have to be on camera at all times, right? That's the purpose of having the second device. I have to be able to see your full face. And if you don't show your ID or you're not fully visible, right, that can result in exam and/or course failure. Again, just contact your instructor if you have any problems or if you just need any additional assistance. And so, yeah, does anybody else need to use me? I will stop and give you guys a break. This way, if anybody needs to, anything. So let's see, it's to be back at 2:10. All right, so let's finish up orientation. All right, so let's talk about homework assignments. All right, again, look at your syllabus. Um, Review your syllabus, identify all the requirements that you need to complete the task, and then schedule your homework on your calendar, however it is you want to do it. Planner, calendar, prioritize, make sure that you organize according to the most current date, identify the amount of prep time for each assignment, schedule blocks of time to complete assignments. Then complete your required readings, review and follow instructions for each assignment, and then complete the assignments as directed. And then title your assignment per your course. The course and how to title it is in the instructions for the assignments, and then submit your work per the assignment instructions. So if you want to use a calendar, I don't know how many people use a handwritten calendar. I use a handwritten calendar. I'm old. Um, I just prefer to have it in front of me. But you can use your calendar in your course, or you can use calendar on your phone, your Microsoft Office, whatever works better for you. Late work will not be accepted without prior approval from me. So if something needs going to be turned in late, please let me know. I need to give approval for any late submissions. It'll still fall under the late submission guidelines, so 1 to 7 days is a 10% reduction. Anything after 8 is a 0. Late work again will not be accepted without written approval from the instructor. Approved late work submitted by the student will be graded along with other weekly submissions for the next grading period. So all your grades for your assignments will be completed by Tuesday at midnight. So you'll know exactly, the submissions are in by Sunday. So your grades will be in by Tuesday. The purpose of the NCLEX practice questions is to prepare you to sit for your actual NCLEX licensure exam. So the practice questions are covered in each one of your nursing courses. When you click on the link for your NCLEX questions, it is going to tell you, what topics to choose. So your NCLEX questions for this term, it'll be 50 questions per each set of questions. Your NCLEX questions are due in weeks 3, 6, 9, and 11. So if you have any, questions on how to follow the click path for that, just, feel free to let me know and we can work through it together. But there will be, directions on which questions to choose. These are, again, the instructions, the directions on how to submit or how to choose your NCLEX questions. Everybody knows how to submit the PDF for their NCLEX questions. Okay. Submissions must be the number of questions required on a single submission. So again, you're going to be doing 50 questions for community in weeks 3, 6, 9, and 11. Once submitted, the score you submit is the score you receive. So if it's 50 questions and you got 16 correct, then you're going to get a 16. If you got 50 questions correct, then you're going to get 50 questions or 50 points. So one thing about NCLEX questions, right? You control your grade, right? You have the opportunity to do them as many times as you want before you submit. So kind of take that into consideration when you're doing them. Utilize the course text, your online resources referenced in your course modules, percentage score applied to total assignment points available. We do not accept screenshots, okay? So you need to submit the PDF. And that just tells you, right, if you submit the required 50 questions, you have 40 correct, right, you'll receive 40 points. If you submit 100 questions with 50 correct, you'll receive 20%, 25. So just make sure that you submit the correct number of points. You're not gonna get extra credit or extra points if you submit more questions. Make sure you follow the directions carefully. Am I getting and then we have our HESI assignment and practice exams. So you have a HESI assignment in this course. I've already opened it for you. It's your HESI prep assignment. My suggestion is it is a long assignment that you start working on it week 1. There's no practice exams for your HESI, so it's just going to be your HESI prep assignment. So we'll skip that. You do not have any CJ Sim in this course as well. So your big assignments are going to be your vulnerable populations project and your HESI prep assignments. There are 2 case study assignments. We'll go through the syllabus in just a few. Your Saunders questions, and then there is a group project. So we will discuss the group project as well. Just want to. All right, so some tips for papers and your discussion questions. APA, use the current edition of your APA manual. Everybody knows APA had to submit things in APA. There is in your Learn resources, your OWL Purdue or Purdue OWL is there that will help you with APA formatting. Best thing is to only, use your nursing journals, use your textbook as your resource. Don't use Studico, Course Hero, and other sites like that, right? We talked about that. Those could be potential academic integrity violations, right? So only use approved resources. Make sure you have sufficient resources for review. One resource is good, but getting 2 or 3 is going to give you better information. Make sure they are no more than 5 years old. All right. So current best practice is going to be within the last 5 years. And so with that, you're looking at the copyright date. Make sure the copyright date is within the last 5 years. If you're using something like Google Scholar to do a search for nursing journals, you can actually select the date range, right? So you can put it within the last 5 years so you don't get the older articles. Make sure your research relates to your topic. And then summarize in your own words. Quotations are okay. Minimal quotations are okay, but you want to try to submit the work in your own words using, paraphrasing, and then making sure that you are citing those references. So using your in-text citations for the information that you got from an external source. And the purpose of, using references is you may have a wonderful idea or, and it's just backing up your ideas and your thoughts with research. And then questions. Are you prepared? So we are going to, like I said, we are going to have exam reviews. You'll have your HESI review. You want to make sure that you are studying as well for your exams. Come to class with questions, try to go through the reading. So as we're discussing the different topics, if you've done the reading, then you kind of, come with some questions so we can discuss those. What did you find that was challenging or difficult to understand in your homework assignments? So we can make sure that you are prepared. Be prepared to discuss how care is continued once the patient's discharged from the acute care hospital. So we're talking about community-based nursing. So we're going to be talking about people that are out in the community and how we can best assist them. And then do the requirements for a nurse change based on the surroundings they work in. So, what is the care that we provide in a long-term care, a clinic, a hospital compared to that care that we are going to provide in the community. And what's the nurse's accountability, whether we're off duty or on duty, right? We're held to a higher standard. So some of the things that we do in our off time is, can affect us and, as well as what we do while we are on duty. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. Any questions about about the orientation PowerPoint, about any of the assignment required, due dates, any of that stuff?
I'm not sure if you answered it already, but do you care if we work ahead? Just because like we have so much work and with other classes and stuff.
So everything is open on Sunday for that week. So
Okay,
anytime
so
during
week
that
by
week.
week basis.
Now, the vulnerable populations, the HESI prep assignment, those two are already open. They should already be open for you, so that you can start reviewing those and working on those if you want to. So those are your big assignments. And then your group project, I will open next week, so that you guys can get started on that. That's not due until week 7. All right, so before we go to the syllabus, all right, so everybody introduce yourself, and tell me at the minimum, okay, what campus you're from, and if you have an idea of where you want to practice when you graduate. So you can either volunteer or I can call on you. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go. Hi everybody, nice to meet you guys. My name's Danaja. I'm at the Essington campus. When I graduate, I want to go work in the prison.
Really? Okay. Interesting. Have you done that before?
Yeah, I've been to jail a couple times. Psych, I'm playing. No, I have not.
You just want that
Seems fun
population.
though, and they
Okay.
pay good.
Okay. My mom worked in a state. What did she work in? She worked in I guess a state prison in Florida, and she really enjoyed it. Yeah, a state correctional facility. I had to think of the name of it. And she really liked it. So yeah, my mom was a psych nurse. I'm not a psych nurse. I'm not a psych nurse. But that's cool. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go
Oh,
next.
Oh,
Uh,
all right. Go ahead,
I'm
Nisha.
I'm Nishay. I'm at the Essington campus. Once I finish school, I plan on going from LPN to RN, and eventually, I want to become a nurse midwife.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, I don't do OB either.
I love babies.
Yeah,
I love birth. I'm fascinated with birth and babies.
that's awesome. I was a peds nurse. I like the babies once they're out. So yeah.
I might do that too. I might want to do that too, but OBGYN is my passion.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll
All
go.
right. Go
Hi,
ahead, Sean.
everybody. I'm LaShawn. I'm at the Essington campus. From LPN, I'm going to RN, and I'm torn in between labor and delivery, ER, or mental health.
Oh wow. That's a big
I say ER because I worked in the ER. I'm an emergency medical technician as well, and it's like I get an adrenaline rush when I get in there. Like I like more hands-on more than anything. So I just feel like you can learn a lot and benefit a lot from working in the ER.
yeah, you definitely get a lot of experience, skills, assessment, all that stuff. And then, of course, the diversity of the people that you run into in the emergency room. All right, awesome. Who wants to go next? Sarah?
I'll go. Um, so I'm Sarah. I'm also at the Essington campus. I haven't really thought, like, I've definitely thought about it. I'm just not sure exactly where I want to go. Maybe like drug and alcohol, because I do pretty good with that population. Um, I also want to do like a bridge program. Um, just not sure exactly where yet. Like, I've looked into places because I want to continue my education. Yeah.
Awesome. Does Essington have an RN program?
They do not.
Okay.
I was looking like there's bridge programs around, but I'm after school, like I'm moving away from the area, so it's kind of hard to like get something in place right now. So we'll see.
All right, awesome. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
You can go ahead.
All right,
Hi.
Dominic.
Domine, I'm at the Essington campus, and I also want to move forward to like get my RN, possibly my BSN, and I'm thinking about working in the PICU.
Pick you, awesome.
Oh,
All right.
PICU.
Oh, pack you. Okay, awesome. All right, somebody else was getting ready to go too. Go ahead, Whitney.
Yeah, I'll go. Well, I'm Whitney. I'm at the Cincinnati campus, and I want to also further my education and get my RN, BSN, and I want to be a peds nurse.
Oh, awesome. Love peds.
Yeah,
Peds
with
great.
kitties.
Yes. Peds is just like any other aspect of nursing, and it applies to the ER, it applies to OB, it applies across the lifespan. There's ups and downs with every aspect of nursing. You know, peds are awesome. I love kids.
Yeah, me
But
too.
you have your ups and downs, and you know, we lost peds patients, and OB you'll, you know, unfortunately will lose babies, right? Maybe possibly even moms.
I worked at the Cincinnati Children's, so
Oh.
I kind of had the experience working with peds, so I think that's why I kind of fell in love with it.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Oh, great. All right, who wants to go next?
Hi, my name is Rukaya. Also furthering my education, and I wanted to go into psych or peds.
Okay. Or you could do both. You could do pediatric psych.
Smart.
What campus are you from?
Essington.
Essington. All right. All right, who wants to go next?
I'm sorry. I'll go.
It's okay, we're good. Go ahead, Destiny.
Hi, I'm Destiny, and I'm from the Essington campus. And I also want to, continue my studies further. But ultimately, I also want to be a nurse midwife or a CRNA. I'm debating between the two.
Oh, okay. CRNA, I think that requires ICU experience. Yep. So awesome. That's a tough specialty right there. Probably very rewarding though too. Awesome. Who wants to go next?
Hello, my name is Anitra.
Hi, Anitra.
I also want to further my education as a becoming an RN as well.
Okay.
And I would like to work in mental health with adolescents
Oh, all right. Awesome. Are you from Cincinnati or Essington?
from the Essington location.
Okay. That's a that's a big one.
I love working with kids.
Kids are
And I
great.
feel as though,
Adolescents are a different world.
it's much needed there because people don't see the importance of children with mental health.
Absolutely.
They grow up
Absolutely.
being different. Why not start trying to figure them out while they're young so they don't have to go in this world?
Absolutely. And adolescence, you know, brings about its own challenges, right? Because they're going through so much just internally, right? Hormones and everything else. And then you add in some of those mental health disorders, right? It's can be very challenging.
It
Good.
helps a lot, like in the future, so we don't have these episodes why adults acting this way. Maybe they didn't have help when when they was a child.
I'm sorry. Okay. You know what? I'm not even gonna deny that, you know, and what you're
Because
saying,
it starts young. People are like, why are you acting like this? No, it starts when they're young.
it does, right? And a lot of things go unrecognized and unnoticed, right? and it's for a variety of reasons why those things go unrecognized or unnoticed. So no, you bring up an excellent point, and I commend you for that. Yes.
I work with mental health kids now, so I work with them for like 8 years now. I like
Mhm.
it. It's fast pacing. It goes by fast.
I'm sure, and it's probably a little exciting.
It is.
So awesome. That's awesome. I love it. All right, who we have left? Um, Julianne. I can't see you, Julianne. There you are, sort of. I can't hear you.
What about now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Hi, my name is Julian Lewis, and I'm at the Essington campus. And my goal is right after this is to become an RN and be an ICU trauma nurse, and then to become a family nurse practitioner.
Awesome. Okay. I love it.
Thank
I
you.
love it. All right, Mikkel, no. Did I say it right? Is she there?
Come on, Michael.
Michael. Oh, Mike's not working. What campus are you from? Essington. Okay. All right. Who did I miss? Oh, Dara.
My name is Dara. I'm at the Cincinnati campus, and I either want to be a wound nurse or mom and baby.
Okay, that's a big difference. Yep. I love wounds too. Love wounds.
Me too.
Wounds are awesome. I don't, I always have to correct myself. I don't like the fact that people get wounds, okay? But if they have one, then I am 100% going to help them with that. So awesome. All right. And then is it Akoya? You're trying to fade into the background. I'm not
Hi.
gonna let you.
Yes, it's Lakoya. My name is Lakoya. I'm from Essington campus, and I want to be a psych nurse.
Okay, awesome. A lot of mental health in this group. That is awesome.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Oh,
Hi.
hi. My name is Michael. I'm from the Essington location. I also want to further my education and get in my RN. I wanted to do maybe like traveling nursing. Maybe going back like for my MP and all that. So yeah. Sorry you couldn't hear me. It wasn't working.
No, you're good. I can hear you now. That's awesome, you guys. Just the fact that you guys want to go on and continue your education, that is awesome. Um, it's always great to see. We need LPNs. I'm not gonna lie, we need LPNs. You guys, the LPNs, and coming from a former LPN, the LPNs are invaluable to the nursing workforce. But I always like to see and hear that you guys want to go on and further your education. One thing I didn't hear is nobody wants to be a teacher. Nobody wants to go get their master's and teach. So I will be honest with you
I
guys.
wouldn't mind teaching, but I'm not doing to get the master's. That's just too much.
I if you had asked me when I first became a nurse if I ever would have seen myself teaching, I would have said absolutely not. And as I went through my different programs, so my LPN, my RN, my BSN, you come across different instructors, and some instructors leave great lasting impressions on you, and some instructors leave those not so great impressions, right? And then as I got into practice and I saw some of the other nurses that were coming out of nursing school, and I just, I started to, I started to work with some of the new grads, and I was like, this is actually pretty cool, getting to teach. And so when I went into my bachelor's program, we were a brand new program. There was only 4 of us in our class. And so we got to spend a lot of time with the director and the dean because they were the ones teaching our courses. And I was like, I really think I want to teach. And so if you want to teach, you have to get your master's. And I was like, I don't really want my master's. And hence, yes, I went back in, I got my master's. And then still, I was like, I'll try it. I'll try some clinical instructing and see how that goes. And then I did that for a while. And then when I first stepped into the classroom, I was probably the most nervous teacher in the whole wide world. The students were probably like, I can't believe this person is standing in front of us trying to teach us something. But then, practice and, confidence. And I absolutely love it. I love working with students. I love watching you guys be successful, and learn. And so, yeah, and again, I never would have thought when I first started that I would ever be standing, sitting in front of a group of students and actually teaching, but it's awesome. And you guys will all do teaching in your career, whether it's formal or informal. You'll work with new grads, you'll work with nursing students, you'll work with CNAs and other nurses. You'll provide education to your patients and your clients. So that is something, right? That's part of everything that we do. Education is such a big part of, patient care. So the next thing I am going to do is I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through the modules real quick. And then I'm going to highlight some stuff. So let's share. I can't find my share button. There it is. All right, so this is your Canvas shell. All right, so you have your, basic information, right? Your writing center there for your Learn and your APA formatting. Here is my information. All right, you have your syllabus quiz, your technology check, and then we get into week 1. All right, so week 1 is all about community and introduction to community. I will tell you, Healthy People 2030 is really important. So click on that Healthy People 2030. You can go to the website, read this nice little blurb here. There's some really, really great information. It's going to be absolutely useful for you throughout this course. You have your first discussion question that is due tonight at midnight, and it's just discussing vulnerable populations. Your week 1 reading, I'm sorry, I skipped that. All right, so here is, you have your fundamentals book, chapter 1, your med surge. There's some information about community care on page 123. Then you have your PowerPoints, and then your Healthy People website, and some other information as well. We get into week 2. All right, so we have quiz 1 will be next week at 1 o'clock. Your week 2 reading, these are in your maternity and pediatric book. It's selected pages. All right, it looks like a lot of information, but it's only a few pages here and there. So that'll be in your maternity and your peds book. Then we have 11 and 12 in your fundamentals, and page 1024 in your med surge text. And then there's some PowerPoints here for you as well. When you look in your Canvas course, okay, there's lots of information in your modules. All right, so this is all about school nursing. And then there is a nice section on lead exposure, right? So those that want to work in pediatrics, there's some really good information about lead exposure here. All right, so make sure that you're going through the modules. Then week 2 discussion is about common childhood ailments. your week 3 module, and I'm not gonna go through all the reading now, okay? It's just to kind of show you. But there's lots of information in here, so make sure you click on all of it. Your vulnerable populations project is going to be in week 3. And I'm going to click on this because I want to go through this with you. So your vulnerable populations assignment, you are going to select a vulnerable population in your community, not statewide, not nationwide, community. So go stand on, stand on your front porch, open your front door, and look at your community. So you're going to do what's called a windshield survey. A windshield survey is basically you're going to drive around your community, literally looking at your windshield. Okay, so you're going to have set boundaries. All right, so you're not picking the whole city. Well, you can pick the whole city. But make sure that you're staying within your city. All right. And you're just looking out the window of your car. You're identifying a vulnerable population. Are there a lot of homeless people sleeping in the streets? Are there a lot of drug users? Are there a lot of pregnant adolescents? What are you seeing in your community? And then you're going to do research. So you can go to either your health department website or you can go to the Census Bureau website and you're going to get the statistics of that information. So I'll just say Essington, what is the population of homeless people in Essington? All right. So it's going to give you numbers. And you want to look and see what other resources are available. And so again, picking a vulnerable population in your community. You're going to identify the vulnerable population. You're going to identify their health risks, their health needs, what resources are in your community to help that vulnerable population. And then what do you think is another resource that's not available in your community? It's a PowerPoint presentation. It's not a paper. All right. And so it should have at least one slide and then one slide per category. So you'll have your title slide is one slide, your title slide, and then a minimum of 1, 2, 3, 4 slides, and then your reference slides. I'll tell you most of the time it's going to be a little bit longer than that, but it's not a super long PowerPoint. These are your vulnerable populations to choose from. All right. Poor and homeless, pregnant adolescents, migrant workers, and immigrants. You're severely mentally ill, you're substance abusers, victims of violence, those with communicable diseases, people at risk of disease transmissions, HIV positive, Hep B, elderly, children, women with high-risk pregnancies, women with without access to prenatal care. It's a typo. Your veterans are a vulnerable population. Okay, so you want to look at it. Now, so this is something that you can kind of look around now. One thing that I want to tell you, when you're doing this, you are looking again, I can't reiterate this enough, your town, your city, okay? If you can't find city statistics, then you can use state statistics. I can't even say the word. All right, your rubric is here. So pay attention to the rubric because a lot of times what I've seen in the past is they will put, maybe they'll put a total number, but they're not putting the ages. This population is not just your vulnerable population, it's the population of your area as well as, okay, so if I have 20,000 people that live in the area, but then my population of homeless people is, 2,000, right? You want to put that here. But you want to put your ethnicities, your employment status, your gender mix, if there's, more prevalent religions in your area. Then you're going to identify the health risks and the health needs of the population. So for example, if it's you choose the homeless population, right? What are their risks? Weather exposure, violence, communicable diseases, dehydration, malnutrition, right? You can go list and list. And then what are the health needs, right? They need, access to primary care. They need immunizations, whatever their health needs are. And then you're going to look at the community and you're going to identify and describe the resources, the programs, and the services that are currently available. What that means is, there is, the name, provide the names of the homeless shelters, the food banks, the whatever programs that are currently in your area. All right, make sure that we have at least one primary prevention resource. And then looking after so you want to identify 8 to 10 resources, okay? Once you've identified those resources, look at those resources and say, what is it that we need, okay, but don't have? So that is your describe one resource that is not currently available in your area, that would be valuable. All right. So again, it's not a super long, but please pay attention to the assignment directions as well as the assignment rubric. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm going to stop there. There's one last thing that I need to say that's super important. And I know that we have some time before we get there. Week 12, right? We know that there is always the week 12 check-in, and most of the time the week 12 check-ins is done during the scheduled course time, but we know that the last week of the term is also Christmas week. So check-ins will be a little bit different for week 12, and I will post those in the announcements. And I'm going to tell you what it is in 2 seconds. Needs to pull it up. So for PNR 208, we are going to do our check-in on Monday, December 22nd from 2 to 2:30. All right, I will post that in the Canvas shell, but just keep that in the back of your head that week 12, instead of meeting on Wednesday, we are going to meet on that Monday for a little while. Okay? All right, well, it was a pleasure meeting all of you. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Take care.